Boy, we have people on here already, and we didn't even start because everybody's very, very excited about my big guest, which I talked about 2 weeks ago when I went live, and I had a couple guests. Somebody said Barbara Corcoran, and I said, better than Barbara Corcoran. So before we get into that real quick, I just want to introduce my daughter, Lisa, who's here.
Hi.
So Lisa is, she works with me. You guys know that. And she's here visiting. So I just want everyone to say hello. All right.
Hi. Have fun.
All right. All right. So we're excited. And I am going to bring on my guest, who you all know and love. Woohoo! Here she is, Audra Lambert.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
So excited to be here. It's been so much fun.
This is great. This is really good. So, we've texted a couple times over the last year or so. And I think just, of course, I think as I started my channel, I would watch my videos and then you would pop up and I'd be like, oh, who's this woman? And then I was like, oh, she's actually quite funny, which
it's
I'm
so
not.
funny. People think I'm funny. I'm like, really? I don't think I'm that funny.
Oh, just real and authentic. Okay, so Audra, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself to my audience, tell them a little bit about yourself if they don't already know.
Yeah, my name is Audra Lambert, and I'm one of the top selling agents in South Orange County. I specialize primarily in San Juan Capistrano, San Clemente, Dana Point, Ladera. You probably don't even know the areas, but South Orange County. And I used to be a designer. And then before that, believe it or not, I used to be a computer nerd and worked for a company called Ingram Micro. So I was their sales director. So the approach that I take to real estate is very professional. And anyway, I love what I do. And I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't doing anything other than real estate. I just love it.
Well, you're a YouTube star.
I don't feel that way, but thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, I watch your stuff, for those of you who don't know, I mean, I watch Audra's stuff just like everybody else does. And I'm very impressed with a lot of your stuff, but truly your focus and passion on doing not only long form, but the Instagram stuff too. I mean, that is a lot of work. Like how much are you working on videos versus real estate?
That's so funny, Katie, because I look at you, I'm like, how does that girl do that? Because you're so organized and you have your playbook, and I feel like you're doing more than I'm doing. So that's a huge compliment. You told me one time, you're like, someday I'm going to catch you. I'm like, don't worry, you will, because you also, I think, are equally as passionate in what you do. But to be fair, I think you're a lot more, more technical, and you're more of a YouTuber. Like you have some classes and you're doing this live video. Like this is the first time I'm online, and the only reason is because of you, right? So thank you for the opportunity, truly.
Yeah.
But I would say, so you all have to know that I'm literally sitting in my living room, which you probably have seen that in some of my videos, or in my office. And then lately I've been doing it kind of out in the backyard or even on some client sites just because it's too noisy around here. But I literally just take a cell phone and I start jibber jabbering, and I have really good intentions to get some content out. And if any of my followers are watching, I've been trying to get my countertop video out forever. I just haven't had the time. So usually when I'm videoing, it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 at night, because that's when I can do it. So
that's crazy.
I know 80, 90 hours right now, but it's a season. So my busiest time is January to August. And I always say August is the slowest month for us in our area right now. So I'm relaxed and I'm having a wonderful conversation with you today.
That's great. So, there are a couple things that I'm just going to say we disagree on.
Yep.
A couple things we disagree on.
Yep.
But we don't disagree in a bad way at all on these things. But I definitely want to talk to you about a few things that we just are different. And I think the reasons that we're different is because what is your average price point on your homes?
Zillow says it's 1.8.
Yeah. So my average price point is probably about $750. But I work with a lot of people who are 500 and below.
Right.
So I feel like you and I are talking to the same audience, but yet a little bit different audience. How do you feel about that?
Well, so how many listings do you have on average, Katie?
Not many right now. I'd say like 5 right now. There was a time I was carrying 20, 30 when the market was a little hotter.
So I think for you, it's more of a breach. Like, how can you be everywhere at once, right?
Mhm.
So in our area, it's a little bit different. The days on market calculation is ticking up significantly, especially here in the last year. And then we don't have a ton of showing requests. Like, we might have 1 or 2 showing requests per home. And when we were talking about this, I don't know, gosh, a couple months ago, you're getting a lot of calls still, right? So showing up and putting the clothes on and doing the presentation for 10, 15 showings a week is a lot. So
Mhm.
one of the questions you had for me is, Audra, how do you do it? And in our area, because the price points are a little bit higher or significantly higher depending, and just to put things in perspective, the lowest price house that I've sold this year is 270,000, and the highest price home that I sold is 4.65 million. So I do have a pretty large range, but they're usually on the higher side. I do offer this service to every price point because I can, right? So I have a team that I have about 5 girls that are totally dedicated to showing, and it is one of our what do I want to say? One of our selling features when we go into a listing presentation. We get there early, we show the property, and to be fair, like when I'm representing buyers, I will ask that listing agent to be there, and they get kind of snippy sometimes. But there's a couple of reasons why I want that in my area, right? With the people I'm dealing with. Number one is, if I'm showing a lot of properties, I want to sell a home, right? So if I'm bringing my buyer in there and the house is beautiful and the listing agent sitting there telling us all the features and benefits of the home and the distinguishing features, because oftentimes I'm showing buyers properties that I don't really know the area. And then also, for protection reasons, I don't want anybody to, tell me or my client that we did something on the property. So it's always nice having somebody there. But I don't know. I was going to ask you, how do you have that conversation? Because I have a hard time letting my sellers know, like, hey, there's going to be somebody other than me showing the property. And just so you know, if you ever were consider doing this, is I have my entire team show up before we even put the house on the market. I have the seller there, and I tell the seller, I want you here because I want you to hear how I'm going to pitch your house. And we will go around the house. I'm like, this is what this is, and this is the features here, and this is how we're going to, distinguish your house and pitch your house against the neighborhood. And I will walk my entire team. They're required to be there through the entire property. And then the seller sometimes will say, hey, I didn't know my house was this great. Or other times they'll say, you missed this. So it's a collaborative effort. And then if for some reason I can't show the property, anybody on my team will know how to pitch that house the way I would. But also, you have to realize, and I'm going to shut up in just a minute, that I'm not trying to sell, right? When they walk in, I'm there to make sure the house is, positioned perfectly. But also, it's more of a, let me do my job. I'm not going to hound you, but let me tell you what I love about this home. When you're walking around this home, I want you to notice these things, because they're very unusual, or they're very specific to this property. I'm going to get out of your hair. Go enjoy the property. I'm here if you have any questions. So I think a lot of times people are like, I just want to have the property to myself, Anyway, I'm sorry. I was going to ask you.
No, this was good. And obviously you are a very high-end agent. Like, you are very high customer service.
That's true.
Absolutely. And the listings that I have, they're over 1 million. I
You
would
do that.
agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and so I think that's where the distinction is, because when you have a house that's $500,000 in a hot market,
Yeah.
the
It's gonna go.
listing agent having to be there on site is going to be detrimental to the seller, because you can't get all those showings in, because the listing agent obviously can't be there. Now, I operate my team the same way you do, whereas I have other people who can accompany
Right.
showings.
Yep.
So it's the same type of thing. But I feel that I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Buyers agents and buyers don't like the listing agent there. Now, that could be because of the price point that you're talking about.
Well, they haven't met me.
That's
So,
true. That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. So I think that the catch is, you have some buyers agents and some listing agents that may not have the expertise in making the client feel comfortable. And
Mhm.
the key is, you got to make them feel comfortable and warm, right? You're not there if they rip the house apart, like, hey, that's feedback, feedback's a gift. I don't think I've ever had any buyer come through one of our houses and say, and what I may not know, but it wasn't a deterrent. It was, if anything, it was a benefit, right? And then
Yeah.
then oftentimes I have the buyers calling me directly. Hey, my agent's busy. I have a few more questions. They don't love that. But the goal here is to get people to feel comfortable, see the house in its best light, and help them make an educated decision. And I think me or my team being present it's worked for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll just be honest, like this is like the biggest year I've ever had. And I do think it's because of the customer service that I provide. And also
Mhm.
YouTube's done a great job in catapulting me in my area and just having people be aware of what I do. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So do you feel that YouTube has helped your local business?
Yeah. So this is something I really truly believe in this. And Katie, I think you're way ahead of this than most. Is that I think the way that this whole real estate business is going is if you don't have a strong YouTube channel, because right now they're predicting YouTube's going to be the next Netflix, right? If you go look, and I'm sure your analytics are the same, the majority of the people who are watching me right now are on TV. They're not on their cell
I
phone.
know, isn't that crazy?
Crazy, right? So
I
they're
think
sitting
it's crazy.
down they're sitting
Yeah,
down at the end of the night and putting, Katie and Audra on their TV, and it's becoming the next Netflix. So if
right.
you are not aligning yourself with realtors like us that are doing that, you're not going to have the same advantage, or someone that's not doing that's not going to have the same advantage if they're not aligning themselves with realtors like ourselves. So when
Yeah.
I sit down, I was in a listing presentation yesterday and I'm like, hey, listen, I don't mean to be arrogant, but there's not a realtor around here that has more reach than I do because of my YouTube channel. Right.
Right.
So yes, it's definitely helped.
Good. And I feel like, because both you and I are now national channels as opposed to
Yeah.
local channels, which
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
big difference, which is
Yes.
why we are referring a lot of agents out.
Yes.
And I think what I've found, what I try to convey out in my commentary is that I want sellers, I want you viewers to be educated. Like that
Mhm.
is the more educated they are, the better partners they're going to be
That's
with
right.
great real estate agents. And I
That's
say
right.
great because
Yes.
there are a lot of really bad agents out there.
There are.
So that's like what I try to convey out is you have to have a great agent, but you also have to have a base understanding to be able to ask the questions and to become a partner with
Yes.
that agent.
Right.
I mean, how do you feel about agents across the country? Do you see a lot of good ones, not so
Yeah.
good ones? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I started this referral business, 2 years ago? And I will say that in my area, we have a lot of good agents. There are a lot of good ones, right? But like anything, it's kind of the 80-20 rule, right? 80% are good, the other
Mhm.
20 are not so good. But when we were looking for agents in different areas of the country, I was like, whoa. I was surprised that they couldn't
Yeah,
even answer some basic questions, or they were taking pictures of the homes with their cell phone and you see them in the bathroom and they're
right.
catching themselves in the mirror. I mean, there are some areas that I think are underrepresented, and I hate to say that, but it's the truth, right? They just don't have a great selection for some agents.
Exactly, exactly. So and I think that's one thing I've really learned a lot is trying to figure out who the great agents are
No,
out
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah,
For sure, absolutely. So I think we've sort of cleared up the lockbox agent thing,
yeah,
which it you have to go with an agent who understands your area really well, who can have this conversation with you. So
yeah,
like th- any agent that you hire should be able to sit down like Audra and I can and explain our rationale.
yeah, yeah.
Like real honest conversation. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, and Katie, real quickly, when you're doing those lock boxes, I'm sure, and this is something that because I've never done it. I mean, to this day, I've never done
Yeah.
a lockbox. But I'm assuming when that agent calls, you're having that conversation. Like, let me tell you a little bit about the house. I mean, it's not just like, hey, off you go. Like you are educating the people that are getting there. Hey, make sure you point out this. You're doing your job as far as selling the product before they're even getting there. I'm making that assumption. Is that fair to say?
We are, but when the house is $500,000, these are agents that are a little more transactional.
Got it.
So it's not as high of they don't want as much customer service. So we use showing time.
Got
Do
it.
you use showing time? Yeah. See, we use showing time. A lot of agents, and I'm in Florida and Chicago, and they're using showing time in both
Got it.
places.
Okay.
But I have a $2.5 million listing right now, and I go and I talk
Yeah,
to them
that's
and
right.
I,
Yeah.
so it
Yep.
depends on the location. It depends on the agent. Some agents just want to be in and out at that
Yep.
lower
Fair
price
enough.
point, I
Fair
think.
enough. I hear you.
Yeah. Transactional. Okay, so one thing that people have asked me that you've talked about is
Right. Yeah.
pre-inspection. Tell
Yeah.
me, and
Yeah.
I don't
So
know if
let's
we're going
talk
to
about that.
disagree. I don't know
Yeah.
if we're going to disagree on this, but
No, but
how do
who
you feel?
pays for it? Because I got burned. I got burned big time. So this is something really interesting. When COVID hit, there was a lot of people in California that were moving from Silicon Valley down to the area where I reside and I represent. And they were so offended because we did not have an appraisal. We didn't have a pre-home inspection. We didn't have all the seller disclosures before they even showed up at the property. So that is where I started this. Well, that's a good idea. And then because we had such a huge migration of people coming from Silicon Valley down here, I'm like, well, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. And what I realized doing that is it made the process go so much smoother. So, hey, here's the home inspection. These are the things we corrected or didn't correct. Here are the seller disclosures. And because it made the process go so much smoother, I'm like, I'm going to reinstitute this into my everyday business, how I do this, because it is such a time saver. But it wasn't like I've been doing this for 15 years. It started during COVID. And I'm still a firm believer in it. Now, with that said, during COVID, we could take a total junky house that was infested with mold and people would buy it. Okay. So I'm like, yeah, I'll pay for it. But what's happening now is 20% of all the homes that are going on the market, the sellers are removing them off the market because they're not being successful right now. So that means that AUDRA LAMBERT spent all this money and they're like, oh, thanks for spending all that money. And now, we'll think about it in 2 years, or I just eat that cost. So what I'm telling some of my sellers now, it depends on their financial situation. Like I'm working with one client that just really is tight on money. So I'm going to comp that home inspection. It's just the right thing to do because they just don't know what they don't know. But what I'm see some sellers that are just like, yeah, if it sells, then I'll have them pay for that home inspection. And then I will comp them that home inspection once we close. Now, the most important part of this whole thing is any inspection report should be in the seller's name, okay? Because it's not going to be in AUDRA LAMBERT's name. It's in the seller's name. It's their responsibility to order.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So my thought on the pre-inspection, again, it goes into probably the price point of the home.
Yeah, fair
You
enough.
know, because, I have my 5 categories in my seller's playbook of different types of homes. And, the people who have the top 2 categories, the unpolished potential or the modern move-in, take care of their homes really, really well.
Mhm.
So those are the ones who might be willing to do the inspection and then they make
Yep.
sure they fix anything that's in there. Anybody who's like surface shine and below, they're not going to fix those things because they haven't made it a priority while they've owned the home,
Yeah.
most likely.
What did you say? Surf? What'd you call it?
Surface shine. So I have 5
I love that.
I have 5
Mhm.
categories in my playbook.
Okay.
The first one is restoration required, and that's like not livable, total gut.
Okay.
Then there's concealable condition, and
Okay.
concealable condition is like people are living there, but it's like bad mechanicals and really, really dated. Then you
Yeah.
have surface shine. Surface shine is like they might have redone a bathroom or a kitchen, but like it didn't touch the mechanicals at all.
Okay.
That can kind of go either way. It can, or there's a lot of really good mechanicals and the kitchen's completely old.
Right.
Or my unpolished potential, which is, I'm going to tell you and I'm going to ask you if this is your favorite too. This is my favorite. Unpolished potential is like great bones,
Yeah.
might be a little dated.
Yeah.
The sellers completely understand their house inside and out.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
not going to be any inspection issues. And if
Yep.
they are, they will fix them.
Yep. Yep. Love that.
And then my modern move-in is like somebody who does everything, gets great furniture, it's
Yep.
trendy, and it's just exactly what buyers are looking for.
Yep. Yep.
So like, somebody with my restoration required or concealable condition, there's no point in doing an inspection because
That's right.
it's in bad shape.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it depends on the type
I
of the
agree.
home,
I agree.
probably on the price point. But we don't necessarily disagree on this either.
No, we don't. And I think if you go, I have my website, you can see all the properties that I've sold. I actually have a second YouTube where I have all my listings. There's no, we'll say fixers in there because if they're fixers, I offload them onto investors because the kind of service that I provide, like that's not going to do anybody any good. Like
Right.
that's not what I do. Right. So if I have a fixer or a property that needs to go move pretty quickly, I will offload it, or I shouldn't say offload it. I'll either give it to another agent that specializes in that, or I'll have an investor because I have a reputation and brand that I put on all my products. And when someone's going to buy a product from AUDRA LAMBERT, they should expect a certain standard, right?
Right. Absolutely. So that's great. So, and everybody out there, I know you guys have questions for us. So go ahead and put them in here. We're going to answer a bunch of questions. I have some other things as well. So and I gave you a lot of questions that we might talk about. We're not going to talk about all these, but I'm going to pull the one that is, when have you gotten fired before?
It's so funny because here's the thing. I've never been fired. So, but never been fired. But this is what
have you fired somebody?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, because here's the thing. I don't, I'm trying to think if I fired anybody. No. So let's talk about what that definition means. Okay. So when I think of firing, like you're under contract and you're like, I want out, cancel it. Right. Or, hey, let's mutually agree that we are no longer working together. So I've never had that happen. What I have had happen is that the contract expires and then I get Audrey, you work so hard, you're awesome. We'll relist with you in the fall or the spring or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing I know, their house is on the market with somebody else. And that is a horrible feeling, right? It's like, ugh. But if some of you are watching my channel, like I do 3-month listing periods because it's kind of a dating process. After 3 months, if we don't like each other, then I'm able to get out or you're able to get out. But the risk for me is that if I'm not shining and you're not feeling like you're getting the value, then I just spent a bunch of money on photos, my time, and I spend a lot of money on my listings, right? Now, I will say that rarely happens, meaning that they don't love me and they don't, relist with me, but it also keeps me on my toes. But I've had that happen a couple times.
So, you know what, that's really interesting. And I love that answer because I do a 6-month listing, cancel at any time, which is kind of the same thing. Yeah. And the reason I do that is almost identical to what you just said, is because I have to prove myself.
Yeah.
Like if my clients are having a problem or an issue with me, then I have to be able to have the conversation. And if they can cancel at any time, they're not going behind my back to talk to other agents, because then they're like, well, when my listing is up, I'm going to, I'm going to list with you. My clients don't do that. They just tell me outright, but they don't really. I mean, I've had a couple people, but that I fired that we've had the conversation.
You have fired them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But
so wait, can you cancel at any time also?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. I had to do, well, there've been a couple in the recent past and they were just horrible, like mean to me, like ongoing. And I'm at the stage in my career where I don't tolerate a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
So these are people who I actually fired. And then I had one seller that I was like, I'm done. We went through 3 contracts. They wouldn't give a credit. It was just a mess. They were yelling at me, screaming at me. And I told them we're done. I said, we're done. And they literally were trying to get their attorney involved so that I would still continue to work with them.
Good Lord. That's awful.
I'm like, why you don't want to work with me? Like what is
yeah.
But I do like the cancel at any time. The 3-month is, I haven't heard that. I think that's great too, though.
Yeah. So the thing I like about 3 months is emotions are running really high with listing. I mean, we'll just say with sellers, and then especially in today's market, because they're just not getting the results that they want. And I'm like, give me 3 months. After 3 months, if I can't make it happen, then, we either continue to work with each other, but at least give me 3 months, because after a month, they're like, hey, we're not getting the results. I'm like, just be patient. We know that the days on market's taking longer. Give me at least 3 months. And then if I bring my in-house staging, and like, I have a 3-month contract with them too. So like, we got to do at least 3 months, after 3 months, we can have a conversation, and they're usually okay with that.
Absolutely. So I love that answer. I think I got an email the other day from somebody who was watching me that said, well, she won't do a 3-month agreement. And I'm like, well, that's her choice.
Yeah.
Like that's her choice. And I respect other agents who are out there who are making their choices for their business. But I think with sellers, you sellers need to have the conversation, and find out why and what the reason is behind it. And can you make something else work?
That's right.
So, okay. We have a few questions. There you go. What do you think of that one? Is September a good time to list a house?
So I'm going to say that every area is different, because that's, of course, it's like, there's always an exception to the rule. But I will tell you that August in my area is the worst month to list a home.
I will agree.
Okay. So I don't know if that's the same where you are, but I just can't stand August. I always think the sky is falling. It's not. We're in August. So good time to take vacation. But September, we get our second wind in September. So I like September. I like October. I like November. December, if you're not under contract, let's say December 15th, I usually recommend taking it off the market and repackaging it for spring.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you. The worst time to list is actually in August.
August.
Because you have kids going back to school
Right.
and you have
Right.
vacations that are ending up. People are just busy. That is literally, I think, the worst
I agree.
time.
Me too.
I like September. I like October. The only times I say don't list are the week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Not a good week. And
That's good.
the week or two before Christmas, which you just said,
Yep. Yep.
or in Chicago, if it is freezing cold, like
Oh yeah.
people don't come out and look at houses. So we're in alignment on that for sure.
Mhm.
So, okay. Thanks for doing this podcast. I'm currently addressing items in the house that should be done in upstate New York, looking to sell in spring of 26 and move to Myrtle Beach. Okay. Fantastic. Glad you are here. Retirement is underrated. I love that. Oh, here's Vicky, a huge supporter. I know that. What is normal in respect to who pays for pictures? Shouldn't this be a part of the services as an agent? Audra, what do you think?
I pay for all my photos because I'm protecting a brand and a reputation, and I don't want some Yankee photos on my. There's absolutely no way.
I completely agree. Like to me,
Yeah.
this is the basic thing that agents should be doing. Like
Absolutely.
at a minimum. And the only time I would ever even consider iPhone pictures is when you're at an $85,000 home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like they have to
Even that. Well, I probably wouldn't take the listing,
Well,
but yeah.
right.
But I mean, not that I'm thinking I'm better. It's just that the amount of money that I'm going to be spending on my photos is going to be probably more than I'd make on a listing.
Exactly. So that is a minimum. Like if you guys are having agents who are not paying for photos and you're paying a commission, that's a problem.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. How can we assure sellers that their house can sell with value in this bear market? Renee, you might be, are you an agent? I don't know, maybe. How can we assure sellers that their house can sell with value in this bear market?
Well, I can't make any guarantees, and that's you got to cooperate with the market. And when I'm going into my listing presentations, I don't make any guarantees. No one can. And all I can tell you is, making it shine online, making sure it's at market value. It's not a time to get too greedy in this market right now. But you have a higher probability for success if you're hiring the right agent and your house is prepared well. And the market's going to bear what the market's going to bear.
Yep. And that is, I agree with that too. And the one thing I'd say is pricing is incredibly important.
Exactly.
So my next video that comes out, I'm going to put it out on Sunday, is the question of what if you can't sell the house for the price that you want?
Oh,
what are
good.
you going to do now? And
Good.
it's not just keep reducing the price. It's, you
Right.
get people who are like, but I want this price. Well,
Yeah.
what if you're not going to get that price?
Right.
So any house will sell.
That's right. List it
just
for
gotta-
$1,000. I promise it'll sell. Yeah.
It'll sell. The question is what is your tolerance
Yeah.
for it? And what is the market saying to you? Because we as agents can't control the market
Yep.
at all.
Yep.
At all. So, okay, let me see here. This is a question. Does the 3 months start at the day a house goes live? How do you feel about that? Is that 3 months or does it start when you're starting to prepare the house?
Yeah. So for me, I write my listing agreements for 3 months. It might take 6 months to get the house on the market, but my contractual obligation is 3 months.
Okay, that's great. I love it. Realtors are asking 6 months in Los Angeles. Maybe. It depends on the agent.
Yeah. And they can ask all they want. You just tell them what you want. I mean, everything's negotiable. And I think that's something that you have to understand. When you're putting your house on the market, you're not working for these people. They're working for you. So you need to just say, I'm comfortable with this. If you're doing your job, would you consider an additional, we can potentially, move it to another 3-month agreement, but I want to make sure this is right for both of us.
Yeah.
And if they're professionals, that's the thing. Like someone says, I want a 3-month, listing agreement. I know they're going to love my service. I know they're going to love me. And I don't have any problem putting it out there because I know they're going to extend the contract.
I think, and that's the whole thing that goes to an experienced agent who's confident in what they do.
Yeah.
Because I know what I provide. I know the honesty that I give to my clients. And so, I feel that feel that same way too. And I did this one time is I had an opportunity for a listing. It was a good listing. I was a lot earlier in my career, and they wanted a 6-month cancel at any time. So this was really early. And I was like, no way, I can't do that. Well, I didn't get the listing. And I thought, why wouldn't I have given that to them? I'm confident in what I do.
Right.
So that's why I lost the listing.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing I want to mention to people who are trying to negotiate is you should try and negotiate with the agent that you're bringing in, because then you see how they negotiate.
That's right. That's a very good point. Yep.
And if an agent is like, oh, sure, I'll negotiate, or, oh yeah, I'll give you, 1% commission, right? If they're saying that, and that's their money that they're giving away, what are they going to do when it comes time to negotiate your money?
That's exactly right. Yep. I agree.
So you gotta play it a little bit. The agent is like, I'm not going to reduce my commission unless somebody's actually asking to reduce my commission. Then we'll have a conversation about it.
Well, and the other thing, if you want to reduce my commission, what service do you want to have reduced? Because, right? That's kind of how it goes for me anyway.
Exactly. Would you share your strategy working with buyers? You go first.
Okay. So 95% of my business is sellers.
Right.
And usually,
and why is that? And why is that?
That's a good question. I think it's two different skill sets, right? I always tell my agents, you're either a buyer's agent or you're a listing agent. Okay. It's usually the 80-20 rule. It's because like I mentioned, I'm doing a lot of service. I'm doing showing, I'm doing private showings. I'm doing those open houses. For buyers, they want me in the car, showing them a bunch of different properties and whatnot. And I am an excellent listing agent. I just can, and it's not meant to be arrogant. It's just the way it is. For buyers, I'm an excellent negotiator. It's just that, to be fair, I have somebody on my team working with buyers because I don't have the capacity to go drive around and spend the time showing them all the homes. My strategy with buyers is, and I'm not sure, sell them a home, but more importantly, I think you have to understand, where they are in the process, because there's a process that buyers go through. Yeah, I'm getting really serious, or this is what I want, but then you show them properties and it's not really what they want. So usually what I do is that first weekend when I'm dealing with buyers, I'm like, all right, let's go see, 5-10 homes. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. And I take them to different areas. And usually, because I'm an experienced agent, I know exactly what they're looking for. They may not even know it, especially people who aren't familiar with the area. Like the school district could be really important to them. Commuting can be really important to them. So I think it's, take them out one weekend, figure out what it is. I think it's important also, we have some constrained inventories in some of the areas in our area, just some micro markets. Maybe I call some agents to see if there's some off-market opportunities, things like that. But of course, right now with the changing and all the laws with the buyer's agents, we need to have that agreement signed up front. So in that case, a lot of you may be asking, do you still have that 3-month? I'm like, no, I do 1 month. I do 1 month because it's very hard to get those people to sign those agreements right now. They don't know me from Adam. They watch me on my YouTube. I'm like, listen, let me just prove myself. Sometimes it's like, let me just show you this one house. And if you like the way I work, then we can continue, because I'm so confident and I'm not trying to sound like arrogant. It's not what this is meant to be, but you're lucky to have me representing you. And if I can't demonstrate that when just meeting you the first time, then I don't deserve your business.
I totally agree with you again. See, we agree on a lot of stuff. And, it's not about having this ego that you're better than anybody else.
No.
It's that you and I understand this industry so well
Yep.
that we know what we're good at and we know what we're not good at.
Right.
And so working with buyers is really difficult.
Yeah, it is.
And the reason it's difficult is because you have to be ready at a moment's notice to go and show a house.
Yeah.
And so if you get a very busy agent, like a very strong listing agent who's really good and very experienced, they don't usually have time just to pick up and go and show a house. And therefore you might miss out. So like when we're referring buyer's agents, we don't pick the best agent in the town.
That's right. You got to have somebody specializing in buyers.
You really do. You really do. So the strategy with working with buyers, the one thing is that, so I have Lisa who helps me, my daughter, on my team with my buyers. And the thing about having both of us is that because, and Audra, tell me if you agree with this, because we have so many listings, we know what the buyers are writing for those listings. So we know what we as strong listing agents know what contracts are winning.
Yes, exactly.
And so by working like with me and Lisa's out there pounding the pavement with them, but they have me to say, okay, I know what's going to win this listing.
Yes, that's exactly. And I think a lot of you need to be real careful with the buyer's agent that you select. Because I'm primarily a listing agent, the offers that come in, you would be surprised at how poorly you're represented if you don't have a buyer's agent that knows how to write a contract or knows how to advocate for you. Like this one offer, I mean, this one house, I had 15 offers that came in. There was only 2 agents that called to pitch their offer. Okay. And they did a great job. And granted, if someone came in all cash, maybe they don't need to call me, whatever. But you know, there is something to be said about a buyer's agent advocating for their buyer. It's just got to find one that really
being equal. All things being equal.
Yep.
You're going to go with the one that seems more committed, that has a better agent.
And can write a proper contract.
Yeah. I totally agree. Okay. While changing a fan, electrical wire broke off. It's affecting 3 other areas now. Do I have to completely fix for selling? Do I have other options? What do we do now before the sale? I mean, I don't know how much that is.
Yes, I don't know the cost either, but my thing is anything electrical should be working in the house.
Yep, agreed. I would agree with that. Okay. My house is in the Seattle market, pretty good price point, although the season I want to sell right now, but I'm concerned about the pricing.
Pricing point.
Yeah. So you want to talk pricing? You want me to talk pricing?
Yeah, well, so I think people give Zillow a bad rap, like, oh, they're wrong. You know, it's not as bad as you think.
I totally agree.
I'm like, I don't think it's too far off. When I say that, you know, they're just doing their algorithms. Like, hey, this is the zip code. Here's the price per square foot. You got a 4-bedroom. And then what I would do is I would look at that price point that Zillow's saying, and they're now doing a range. And like, do I have the upgrades? You know, do I need a decrease for not having a pool? Or I just don't think it's that far off. The other thing is I have an appraiser that's on my team. So we comp appraisals on all of our properties too. So that helps me a little bit with price. But as far as the right price point, in my opinion, it's better to be more conservative in this market. So if there's a house that's sold close to your same house and whatever the features and benefits, like, we don't go higher. It's not a market that we are reaching for the stars and hoping we land on the moon, you know?
Right. Absolutely. And the thing about this specific question is that you can't control the market.
That's right.
And so if you want to sell fast, unfortunately, you're going to have to reduce your price. Like, and your agent can do marketing, a lot of marketing, bring people in. But if your price is too high, nobody's going to offer on it.
That's right.
So your price has to be correct. And that goes into the video on Sunday that's coming out that says, what if you cannot get your price?
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do? Like,
well, I totally agree. And the other thing is, if you're overpricing your house, just know that you're helping your competition sell theirs.
Good. Okay. I have to say, last night I signed with one of your recommendations. I was surprised at the end of his presentation. He said that $995 for all the work they do on getting a house marketed. I'm not sure if that means that you have to pay an additional $995 or that's all they're paying. I need a little more context on that one, Kim. Renee is getting her license soon. Welcome.
Oh, good.
Do your education.
Yeah, education for sure.
Yeah. What do you see trending in staging in higher end homes? Audra, I'm going to let you do this one.
Yeah, I wish I could show you. So, oh my goodness. So what we're doing right now, because it's the cool thing to do, and I don't even know how to explain this, but everything's rounded. So I just listed a home. You guys can Google it. It's 27502 Paseo Boveda. We have everything's round, very restoration hardware. It's not my style, but that's what we're staging our higher end homes, because it looks like it's a more contemporary home. Simple, boucle still trending. A lot of neutrals, a lot of blacks, beiges.
So you have a company that stages for you? How are you doing it?
Yeah, so I have multiple stagers. The big thing with stagers is if they get busy. So we have one that I'll call our in-house, meaning that she's related to some of my agents. So she gives us, a very good deal and treats us like a priority, so we can get our listings on the market relatively quickly. I think we're being invaded. Oh boy, sorry, get interruptions. I'm usually not here working in my home office. I'm usually in my office, but anyway, it's prettier here. So what was I going to say? I think the hardest thing to get a house on the market quickly at the higher end is that it takes 3 weeks to sometimes get the house staged. So it's super important that you're talking with your listing agent if you're considering staging, because it gets really backed up. Now, when I say I have my in-house, she usually will fit us in within a week. It's a very time consuming process. It's amazing how fast it goes up, but the amount of work it takes designing it, they get all that CAD design out there and they're measuring and making sure everything fits. It's quite a production, but it's worth it. I mean,
And
we
your
put it out on the
sellers,
market, we sold it in 2 days, and that
your,
price point, we listed it for 3,770 under contract in 2 days.
and your sellers are paying for that?
So that's a great question. So how we're working it, and it's a very high price point, and I'm making quite a bit of money on it. So they pay for the staging up front. When we close, I compensate them for that.
For the full amount of staging.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to share how much average staging costs for you?
It depends on the price point, right? So I usually put a cap. So on the low side, it's 4,000. The most I've ever spent was 12,000.
Okay. And are you doing it for 30 days, 60 days? What are you doing it for?
3 months.
3 months. Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good. That's
I
great.
usually have a 3-month listing contract. So got to give me 3 months. That's the other thing. The reason why I do 3 months is I have a lot of money invested into the property.
Absolutely. You definitely do. If you stage and you spend all that money, do then, let's say you don't extend the contract, do they have to reimburse you?
No.
It's a good agent right there.
Mhm.
How's Frida?
I'm so happy somebody asked me. Frida's my goldfish that I rescued. I love her so much. It's the silliest story. And I did a video on it that no one watched, but I don't care. I watch it over and over again.
I watched it.
I love my little Frida. So the funny story is a lot of you reached out and said, Frida needs a friend and Frida needs more plants. So I went and got more plants for Frida. I'll give you guys an update on it, whatever. I'll figure out how to get you updated. But I didn't realize this. They're very social creatures, these little goldfish. They're comet goldfish. I did buy Frida a friend. His name is Diego. And what no one told me is that when you put fish together, they have like a pecking system. So for 30 minutes, Diego was trying to eat Frida, and Diego came this close to ending in the toilet. I was so mad. Within 30 minutes, they were all calmed down, and they're besties right now. But it makes me so happy. I love them. They got their plants, their friends. Life is good. So thanks for asking.
That's good. All right. What are the best countertops for updating a kitchen currently? What do you like?
So, oh my gosh, this is hard. Okay, so I'm going to do a countertop video, but I'm going to tell you that I always will prefer to go with a natural product. Okay, so quartz is, for example, not a natural product. I would prefer granite. Okay, I'm just telling you. And everyone's like, granite's old. It's Tuscan style. There are some beautiful granites. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because usually some of the man-made countertops, they chip and they don't stand up to the wear and tear, at least in my house. Okay. Now, some of you are on a budget. You can definitely do things less expensive, but you won't believe how much you can find out there that's reasonable just with granite. I mean, the wonderful thing about granite, I'm kind of getting into this granite thing, is you can put like a hot pot. There is nothing that's going to destroy your granite, right? The next countertop that I am just dying to do on my countertops right now is I want to do quartzite. And I know that's trending right now. And I kind of struggle because I'm kind of a trendy girl, but it's just so dang beautiful. I've seen it.
That's my favorite.
I love it. It's just so elegant and gorgeous. Now, the downside to it is it's very expensive to install because it's really hard, right? It's very difficult to cut it perfectly. But I don't know. There's just something super special about it.
That's my favorite too. What do you think about marble?
So I love marble too. They put them in the bathrooms, they put them in the kitchens, and the people that have them say, "Oh, I hate them because they kind of patina and they get some stain." I love it though. I think it kind of looks like it's lived in. It feels like a kind of a European vibe. I love marble, but I'm not going to put it in my house for that reason. For resale,
especially if you're moving. If you're moving, don't put it in there.
That's right.
I would agree. Okay. I like the idea of canceling any time because it gives some control to the homeowner at a time when they may feel they don't have any control. And the reality is that they don't do it. But you're right. It gives them that freedom to feel like they can and that they can have a conversation.
Yeah.
We can have honest conversations.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you help your sellers find their next home?
I mean, I do if they're, close by, but I mean, if they're looking, 2 hours from where I'm residing, I just can't offer the service.
Okay. So this goes back to Kim's question, which was about the 995. So staging, have you heard of this? I have heard of transactional fees being charged above the commission.
Okay.
I would try and negotiate that out. But you have to respect whatever the agent is doing for their business, and they may choose to walk away, if it's not going to work for them, is how I feel. Like, I hate to give absolutes, like, just because we haven't done that doesn't mean that it's not an acceptable practice for some agents who run their businesses the way we do. Does that make sense?
Well, and Kim, I think what you need to do is like interview multiple agents. Like, are you saying that there's no staging and marketing? Like, that's part of our job. People think, oh, we're just salespeople. Like, part of our job as a listing agent is to market your home. So if they're offering no marketing, I'd be concerned about this. If they're just offering you a flat fee, like, hey, we're going to give you $995, pay us, and we'll put your house in MLS. I've heard that, where they just put the house in MLS and we'll charge you a flat fee. So it's kind of like for sale by owner, where you're responsible for showing the property, paying for photos, but they're going to list it for you. I think that's what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
And Kim, we referred you, so go ahead and shoot me an email. Let me talk to you.
Got it. Oh, that's the referral. I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do you recommend having a different agent for selling and then somebody else for buying? And given that, do you do referrals for both? So
I do referrals for both. So do I also
do
help
you
them
choose? Let's pretend you're referring out
buy?
and that person is buying and selling.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find a different agent for the buying and for the
Yes.
selling?
Yes, I do. I do. I mean, unless it's a very specialized market, right? So usually they're not living in the same neighborhood. And the amount of work that I go to listing, I'm expecting the agents that I refer to put similar effort into it. And it's hard. I just got done telling you that it's very hard to represent the seller and do the buying on the side. I would want somebody that's, getting up in the morning, looking for opportunities for me to purchase. So I usually refer different people.
And I think that's a great answer. One of the things that I look for in that situation is a very small team, kind of like me or Audra.
Yeah.
So like I focus on the listing side. And then I know, for example, Audra has a buying specialist. I have a buying specialist. So I know that it would be all together.
Right. That's correct. That's correct.
Usually what I'm looking for is I'm not looking for a large team. I'm not looking for an agent that has no support either.
That's right. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So $20,000 to replace a 35-year-old HVAC system. I mean, if it's 35 years old, you've gotten your money's worth. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Estimates in California are often based on tax assessed values, so it can be very low if the house hasn't sold in decades. What do you think of that?
Well, I don't think they're necessary. So tax assessed values, I disagree. Like, I know what my tax assessed value is, and I'm in California, and my house isn't listed in Zillow for that amount. So I don't know why you're thinking that. I don't have the experience, at least when I'm looking at, because what I do is when I'm going and listing a house for sale, I always like to see what Zestimate says, because when I'm sitting in front of a client, I'm like, this is what your buyers are going to look at, right? So, I don't see the tax assessed value on these estimates.
And I talk about that too. I like Zestimates because it shows me the algorithm based on what's sold, square footage, bedrooms, baths in that area. It's a very easy algorithm. From there, I look at condition. I look at location. Is it backing up to a train? But that gives a very solid base.
I agree.
And even if you haven't sold, it still knows your square footage, your bedrooms and baths, unless your permit did not go through, you didn't permit something. I mean, it's a good place to start. You can't discount the Zestimate.
Right.
How about that?
I agree.
Okay. I'm going to show this. The grift is over. Ain't no more money. Squeeze out of people. Okay. Not quite sure what that means, but what do you recommend for a 4-bedroom? County says is 2, purchased as such.
What probably happened is that someone did a 2-bedroom addition and didn't permit it, or the county didn't come out and reassess the property. So it's probably an unpermitted 2 bedrooms. I would go down to the city to find out if there were permits that were drawn.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What are recommendations if you don't have an irrigation system and have dead grass, but don't want to spend a lot of money to resod? Reduce your price?
Yeah.
No, I mean, what do you have, Audra? You got something different?
Yeah, so I don't really have irrigation systems around where I live, but if you don't want to spend a lot of money to resod, there's really, someone's going to buy it, for the value they think. I mean,
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, what you can do is you can fake the grass and Photoshop to get them in the door, but then they're going to see it and they're going to see it
right.
doesn't look good. But that is an option. I mean, you could do that.
Or fake grass. You can always do fake grass.
Yeah, good. Well,
I don't know the area.
I don't see a lot.
We do a lot of fake grass out where we live because we have droughts.
Yeah. Okay. We don't I don't see a lot of that, especially in Chicago. I don't know if I've ever seen that in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm. No. What
What
are the most we have good grass in Chicago.
Yeah.
And good water.
Okay, good.
Yeah, really good water. What are the most complaints you hear about houses from buyers?
It's good. Well, depends on the house, but right now buyers are being very selective. So if a house is burdened with something you can't fix, I'll give you an example: road noise. You can't fix that. Back in COVID, they're like, "Oh, we don't notice the road noise because there wasn't as many people on the road," right? Or if there's power lines nearby, right? Or the floor plan's just not ideal. So a lot of people want that bedroom on the main level just for, they want to be in the house for a long period of time and they don't want to have to move. So the house that I moved into, the one I'm in now, I don't have a downstairs bedroom. And I don't love that because I'm getting older. I'm like, where am I gonna have to go upstairs? So, but besides that, design wise, I think, it's kind of, and I hate to say this, and please don't take offense to it, but it's the lipstick on the pig kind of thing, right? Where they have a dated house and, they still have chandeliers that are kind of that Tuscan era and they got the yellow paint and they are asking a premium because their neighbor's house that completely is renovated. They think they're going to get the same price. So it's not so much the biggest criticism. The major criticism that I'm faced with most of the listings that I've been representing here the last 6 months is the price is too high.
Price is too high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the price is too high.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about that all the time. We just have a couple more minutes left. We got a couple other questions here. But I had sent you, I had said there were a couple story things I wanted to hear from you. Did you have any of the creepiest, funniest, hardest, proudest?
Okay, this is funny. So I'm doing a video. It's going out tomorrow on, hey, scary things happen or strange things happen when you go put a house on the market. And I had this one house. I'm not kidding. It was haunted. And I go in there. The sellers moved off the property, and I'm blowing my video right now, but you guys have to watch it tomorrow. And what happened was the cleaning lady would get there and she would tattletale on me. She's like, hey, the lady left the lights on. She wasn't locking the doors. She left the refrigerator door open, left the candle on. And I'm like, no way, did not do that. Like, I'm really good about that stuff. So anytime I'd show the property, I'd take my camera and I'm like, look at the lights aren't on, the refrigerator's closed. But lo and behold, I get the call and, you're doing this thing. And I'm like, good Lord, this isn't me. So I decided the house was haunted. I'm like, the house is haunted because there's no way I would leave a candle on or leave a refrigerator door open. So, and I still can't believe my husband let me do this. It was a vacant property and I took my sleeping bag and I slept on the floor because I was going to find the stupid ghost and have a conversation with him and get him off the property, right? I mean, this is how adamant I was. Like, I'm not losing my stinking
Did you
mind.
really?
Now, you should hire agents like this that are going to get to the bottom of it. So it took me 3 days. And by the way, my ghost name is Chad. Chad was sleeping on the ground in the primary bedroom and the garage door went up at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I never really thought it through. Like, what happens if it is a ghost? Well, how does this work? So anyway, I heard the garage door go up. I'm like, oh my gosh, hid in the closet. My heart's pounding. And then, how the story goes. Chad comes in with his girlfriend And I knew it was the son because they still had some pictures hanging in the hallway, which you shouldn't do. And I recognized him right away that was the son. And he was bringing his girlfriend, in from college. And of course, they were just having a Bible study or something. And so I went down the stairs and scared him to death. And nonetheless, we had a little agreement. I'm like, listen, I won't tell your parents, but you got to help me get this house, put together. And I've been criticized for eating McDonald's hamburgers and leaving bags out the back. So you owe me a Burger King Whopper plain with just cheese with a chocolate milkshake, because that's my vibe. So he did. And we did sell the property within like 2 weeks. So it all worked out. But that was so scary. It was so scary.
That's awesome. That's a good story. So I do want to show you guys this. Okay. Because Audra, I noticed this.
Uh-oh, what is it? Yeah. Woo. Okay, that's
you only need 3,000 more views to hit 1 million.
Yeah, but Katie, put that on there. So for you, my followers, this is the worst video. This is when my hair was falling out. Can you play that a little bit? Like, look at my hair. I have no hair.
I've moved 11 times in 21 years.
Oh,
and every time I sold my property, I've regretted it. So
but I would never have noticed.
Oh my gosh. Of course, that's the one that goes viral when my hair is falling out, I'm like, Murphy's Law.
I had a video, one of my biggest videos. My shirt was too low cut.
Probably why you got a lot of videos.
No. But then I did this band across. Download my seller's
playbook.
Oh,
you're so funny. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Because I was like, you know what? I can't put this out there forever. And it did really like 500,000 views. It did really well. I was,
Good for you. Good for you.
And I think what's just kind of wrapping it up here in the end is that I think it's weird because being on YouTube, I know people like, will you call people? I call people sometimes and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to you.
I know. I love that. Yeah.
And I'm like,
person, yeah.
Well, that's not how my family feels,
Yeah.
But, I mean, I just feel like YouTube is so great because you get to see true personalities of people. And while you and I are competitors, I mean, we're not really competitors, but we each have our own style and our own unique thoughts and views. And I'll watch your stuff. And I think there was a video I commented on. I was like, this is a really great video. I learned a lot here.
Oh, good.
And I like that. I feel like for everybody who's out there, every person that you watch is going to give you a different take, a different feel.
That's right.
I think Audra and I are different because we don't copy each other's stuff.
Yeah, we don't. That's the other thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I found this video. I'm like, you got the same thumbnail, the exact same stuff. I'm like, I didn't realize people did this. It was horrifying.
I hate that, but I had to get over that because that was really irritating, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that something that really bugs you?
Not anymore. I'm like,
Not anymore.
As I get older, it's like things just happen and you just move forward and the real ones rise to the top, Like
I'm like, God, I worked like an hour and a half on that thumbnail.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Whatever. It's a growing thing. It's a learning thing. Yeah. So, okay. We have a couple of last things. It's been great to see us together. We'll do it again. We can do it on your channel. I can teach you.
Yeah. I don't even know how to do it.
But you did it. It was great.
Yeah,
it was super easy. Okay. So Audra, tell us, what are you looking for? You want somebody to hire you, give your location again? How can they get in touch with you? How can they hire you in California?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's lambertgroupshome.com. You can always reach out to me there. I have my information on this channel. My handle at YouTube is just at AUDRA LAMBERT. Should pop right up. Always for hire. Happy to help.
What is that? What was the last one?
On my YouTube. I have all my information on my YouTube.
Oh,
but if you just type in AUDRA LAMBERT, all my stuff comes up.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well,
thank you,
Audra,
Katie. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're a great agent. Like, I love
so are you, Katie. Seriously. Yeah, you're amazing.
Aren't we're so great together.
I know.
I haven't referred you anybody, I don't think, though.
No, it is funny. I went on this listing presentation, like, well, we interviewed 3 of Katie's people. I'm like, oh, come on.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's outside my area. I have an agent that works in that area, but super nice. Yeah.
That's why. That's probably why. So yeah, no, I'm definitely anybody who comes in, I'm definitely gonna look for your area. I will make sure, because Audra, you're a great agent, and so glad we met. And you guys, thanks for watching. This was a great turnout. Absolutely. So Audra, we'll be in touch, and you guys know we're always here for you guys. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for watching, everybody.